Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about the basic principles of power transmission and distribution and on the electrical safety. The objective of this video lies in to introduce the basic principles of the electrical power transmission and distribution and to introduce the concept of electrical safety to the learners. So, regarding the power generation, we discussed enough regarding based on the conventional and the non-conventional sources of energy. And so those energy sources are here modeled as a simply generators, and this is the typical single line diagram of an transmission and distribution system. So the generators, which is generating power at the 15 kV, is transmitted to through the transmission line. Okay, the generators are connected to the transformers, the step up transformers, where the 15 kV voltage is stepped out to 132, 220 or 400 kV depending on the location of the power station and the power rating. And this is going to be the transmission level voltage, the primary transmission level voltage. And the other the voltage at which the power has been transmitted is being distributed to very large consumers and to other grid lines. Okay, and further it has been stepped down to 66 kV as the sub transmission level or the secondary transmission, where it has been provided to the large consumers and a portion to the primary distribution. So in primary distribution, the distribution voltage levels will be 33 kV and 11 kV, and the consumers who are tapping power at 33 and 11 kV are referred to as the medium power consumers. Your education institutes, small industries will come under this category. Okay, and next is the secondary distribution, which is at 440 volt three phase supply. This is for the domestic consumers and the small consumers, that small scale industries and all will receive power at the 440 volt for three phase and 230 volt with respect to the single phase. In otherwise, in a very simplistic manner, we can represent the single line diagram of an typical power generation and transmission and distribution system like this. So through the AC generator, where the power is being generated at 11 kV or 15 kV, is stepped up using a step up transformer to the primary transmission level of 220 kV. And in the secondary transmission, the power is stepped down to 220 kV or 66 kV, and in the receiving substation, and further it has been stepped down to 66 kV and 11 kV, which is suitable for the primary distribution level. And through the substations, the power has been supplied to various consumers. So the consumers, based on the operating voltage level, they are referred to as HT customers and LT customers. HT indicates HT, high tension, means high voltage, and LT is nothing but the low tension or the low voltage customers. Okay, and to the low voltage, that is the LT consumers, that is what our domestic loads and small industries, and the transformer here is referred as a pole mounted transformer. Okay, and this is a secondary distribution level. Then we'll enter into the concept of electrical safety. So with respect to the electrical safety, the 5 features are important: A, B, C, D, E. A indicates of aware awareness. B, break the supply. C, confirm the cause and communicate. D, discharge, and E for earthing. Okay, so let us discuss about the each and every component in detail. The first component is on the awareness. Okay, So before commissioning any electrical work, we should be aware of the following points. One is, what is the source of supply, and whether the source of supply is normal or under backfeeding, and where to isolate, where to start the work, how to work, what is the nature of the work, what are the materials required for the work, what is the time required to complete the work, and how many persons are required for the work. And this planning should be, or this awareness should be there irrespective of the scale of work. Either you want to perform a maintenance in your home, or you want to perform this maintenance in your street or area or locality, or you want to perform this in your industry, or you want to perform this in your power system. Whatever it is and wherever it is, we should have this clear idea about from where we are receiving the power, the supply, and whether it's going to be unidirectional and bidirectional. Why? Because nowadays we ourselves are generating power through solar PV, where there is a possibility of bidirectional power. Even in the absence of grid, the power will be available from the consumer end through the PV panels and the inverter system. And so we need to know where we need to isolate and where to start with the work and how to work, what's the nature of work, the materials required for the work, and the time required to complete the work, and how many persons are required. Okay. And next, break the supply. Before commissioning your work, we have to disconnect the supply. So where it should be disconnected? So again, depending on if you know the previous slide, where to isolate. So depending on the scale of the work, the point of isolation will differ. If you want to perform this within a room, then the circuit breaker, which is supplying power to the particular room alone, can be turned off. Suppose if I want to work at multiple places inside the home, then I should switch off the main switch, which is available at the entrance where we are connecting the energy meter. And similarly, if you want to service for at the at the electrical post, then the particular transformer must be switched off. From the primary side, it must be switched off. Or so like this, we should keep the priority. And if you take here in house, we will be having the circuit breaker, whereas in the transmission lines, we will be having air breakers. Okay, and air based circuit breakers. So the we need to break the supply before carrying out any works. We should not work with a live wire, and switch off the correct circuit on which you are going to work. Always use gloves while operating the air brake switches. So this air brake switches, this is in the case of the distribution transformers, which from the figure you can observe. This is a pole motor transformer, which is located near everyone's place, right? So you should have observed there is a long rod. Okay, to the rod there are attached one lever which is going to act like a switch. So here at this point you can observe. So this is an circuit breaker. This is a breaker where air is the medium, and it is operated manually by the electrician appointed dedicatedly for that purpose. Okay, and this is actually by an iron rod which is insulated from the contact. Though it is insulated from the contact, though it is not directly connected to the supply mains, there is a possibility of conduction due to the induced charges, because here at the other end of the insulator you have another conductor, and your iron rod is also a conductor, and your insulator is will be acting like an dielectric. So we have two conductors separated by a dielectric. So your parallel plate capacitor action comes into picture. So because of this, the charges will be induced. Okay. So usually it will be grounded, though if it is grounded or not grounded, in order to ensure the safety of the personnel, the person should operate this breaker by wearing the gloves. See, in the first figure, the operator did not use gloves, simply using the rod, that iron rod is tending to open or close the air breaker. This is an unsafe practice which you should not follow. And you can see in the picture 2, he is wearing the gloves, the rubber gloves, to operate the breaker. So this is the correct procedure. So the handle the handbreaker switches should be effectively earthed by means of good wire, so that in case of installation failure, there is an alternate path to the earth and the person operating is protected. So while switching off the supply, it should be watched that all the 3 blades are coming out of uniformly. And while opening the air breaker switch, please ensure that the arc should not persist for long time. So you know this, whenever conducting, when you are separating two elements, what happens is the once the contacts are removed, in between the air in between the contacts will become ionized because of the heavy current flowing through the conductor. As a result, there will be a visible spark which is produced across the two electrodes. So this should not exist for long time. The existing of long time spark between the electrodes for long time, which this says that there is a conduction. Okay, there is a conduction through the discharge between the two electrodes. So which means the circuit is still live. Okay. So once it's been tripped off, then you should lock out and tag out, so that you should follow the lockout tagout condition. Lockout condition means once it is open, some random user should not be in a position to close it. We have to keep it in a open position itself, and we should have a tag that it should not be closed. Okay, so once the circuit has been shut off and de-energized, lock out the switchgear to the circuit so that the power cannot be turned back in a advertently. Okay, that is unknowingly, no one can switch it on, and you have to mark a tag that this should not be operated and someone is working on the line. So that the tag is for the indication, and this lock is for keeping the breaker in the de-energized position. So this is one sample of it. Okay, after opening, it is being locked. The lever is locked and a tag is attached not to switch on, indicating some work is going on. Okay, and then confirm. So once you break the supply, we should ensure further there is no power, is no part of the circuit is being energized and it is completely switched off. Okay, in the particular work spot or the area where you are working. So the confirmation provides the additional safety for the personnel, and it can be performed in the following ways. We can physically inspect to see all the 3 contacts are completely open and there is no partial closing, and we can listen to the humming noise from the transformer. If the transformer is energized, then you will hear a humming sound. Okay, so if the humming sound is not there, then the transformer is not energized, it's not supplying. And you can are by checking whether all the working appliances are stopped, and it shall be ensured that the supply is cut off only because of the switching operation. Why? Because even if there is a fault, the supply will continue, but still you won't the voltage will be 0 because of the short circuit. okay, but still the circuit will be alive. So we have to ensure this power cut is only because of the switching operation and not because of the fault. So this is the confirmation what that one has to make it up after breaking the circuit. So this can be ensured by using some testers. So these are the live contact testers which are used in to check the conductor whether it's live or not in the transmission and the distribution systems. And these are a handheld device. Okay. So we have seen about A, B and C, that is the awareness, breaking of the circuit, and then confirmation and the communication. And the next part is the discharge, which is a very important part. You know this, even after disconnection, there will be a stored charges present in some electrical equipments. So before touching it, what we need to do is we need to discharge, we need to completely ground it in order to ensure the safety of the personnel. You might have observed the person who was servicing the laptops or the computer or the SMPS or the olden days television, that is your with the CRT monitors. What they do is once they remove the battery, or once they open the box after disconnecting, what they do is they will be specifically touching some 2-3 parts in the metal parts inside the end devices. So this is done to ensure there is no leakage charge are present in the circuit and it is completely grounded. Okay, so why it is being performed is, if you are doing so, whatever is the charges accumulated, those charges are bypassed to the ground, thereby ensuring the safety of both the equipment and the user. Okay, the similar procedure has to be done in the large scale also, that is in your power system where we are using several capacitors, transformers, transmission line, etc. So after disconnection from the supply has been made, the line or the equipment on which the work is to be taken up shall be discharged and it must be effectively earthed. So even after they are disconnected from the supply source, some equipment or the transmission lines retains electrical charge, which makes it dangerous to work with, and it must be discharged by means of suitable discharging rod. So here we are going to now discuss about how the discharging has to be done. Okay, and you can while discharging you can usually observe the sparks that occur between the transmission line and the discharging rod or the earthing rod, and basically the discharging rod is going to provide an least resistance path to the lines to the ground. Okay, that is from the transmission lines or equipment to the earth. Okay, so it is going to provide a least resistance path. So whatever is the charge, the leakage charges or the accumulated charges available on the device, that is being effectively bypassed to the ground. Okay, so in such cases it is necessary to use the gloves for both the hands for handling the discharge rods. Okay, the discharge rods will have an wire and a rod which is mounted on a wooden arrangement. Okay, and the wires carrying the discharge current shall be kept at least 0.75 meter away from the body of the person who is handling it, and as far as practicable or the possible, the person discharging lines or the equipment shall maintain his position well below the level of the conductors to be earthed in order to keep his body away from the arc that may occur during discharge. So we can I can show you by means of an image here. This is the discharge rod. This is an wooden pole. The one is in orange. At the top, the rod, a conducting rod, is mounted, and this rod and this rod is connected to the earth by means of a copper wire. Okay. Yeah, right. So we have discussed up to this. And the discharging rod should be brought near to the circuit slowly, and if any arcing or flashover is noticed, then it shall be withdrawn immediately. A report on such arcing flashover shall be made to the person who issued the LCP, that is the line breaking, to the person. Normally, the assistant engineer will be the person who will be issuing these instructions for the operators or the lineman. And each and every of the conductor, including the neutral, shall be discharged as shown above, and all the conductors after discharging shall be short circuited together and earthed effectively as per the prescribed procedure. The leads used for discharging shall be tested for the continuity before its use, and is of standard flexible conductor instead of a solid wire, and it is to be preferably made of copper. And the discharging rod shall be of a standard design to ensure good contact with the conductor and the earth, and it shall be tested for the insulation at least once in a quarterly and checked before every use. And earthing shall be done on all the sides of the place of work, that is both the ingoing and outgoing side. And short circuiting shall not be treated as a substitute for earthing, and standard electronic earthing rods must be used. The earthing and discharging shall be done only by the authorized person, and the earthing kit should consist of 3 number of wooden rods with the clamps on top of each, and which is designed for securing and hold tightly the line or the droppers. So this can be done by turning the bottom end of the rod. From each of the above, the top clamps are brought down and bunched together, and these are connected directly to an earth or to a pole clamp, which is again earth. And if there is no earth nearby, a temporary earth shall be provided by driving a crowbar or pipe into the earth. So this has been shown schematically. This is the structure of a discharge rod and the process of discharging. So we should ensure the person who is involved in the discharging should hold the wire without touching his or her body. It should be minimum 0.75 meters away from it, away from the person. If and also the person should be well below the conductor. Okay, in order to avoid arcing between the line and the person, because the person is also at the ground potential only. Okay, and the earth rod is also in ground potential. Then what is the difference between the person and having the ground conductor or the discharge rod is the resistance of the discharge rod will be much far less than the human body resistance along with the pole structure and all. Okay, and we know that always the charges will prefer a least resistant path. So we are providing a using the discharging rod, we are providing a least resistance path for the leakage charges to be bypassed to the ground. So that is what we are basically doing here. Okay, then the provision of earth rod, you can see here for all the 3 phases we should have 3 earth rods, and the all the 3 rods must be connected, and the one end should be connected to the earth. Okay, so this will reduce the amount of wire which is used for the connecting to the ground, rather than individual connecting all the 3 phases to the ground. All the 3 phases are initially short circuited, and the common end is connected to the ground. So this you can see how the poles are mounted, how the earthing rods are provided mounted on the conductors. And here this shows in the works part how the works part is prevented. So the grounding is provided on either side, that is on the incoming side and the outgoing side of the pole. We are connecting the grounding rods short circuited, so that whatever the direction of the power flow, it is completely bypassed here. Why is there any, if there is any leakage charge in this section, it is discharged here, and if there is any leakage charge in this section, that is discharged at this particular point, so that here the person can work confidently without any without subjected to the condition of shock, electric shock. So this ensures the person is operating safely. The stay wires shall not be used as a earthing wires. These are the common mistakes. So in the older days, actually the poles are supported by means of the stay wires. Okay, and this is also connected to the ground, but we should not use this as your ground connection, or earth connection. We should use and separate ground. Why? Because this is not a perfect conductor as like your copper wire. Okay, and also it is electrically isolated also. Here you can see, here you will be having a porcelain and to which the wires are tied. Okay, so this will ensure there is no leakage charges present, and it is always safe to the common people, but we should not use this as a ground. This is a wrong method. Okay, and coming to the procedure for earthing, after discharging only the earth rods shall be securely screwing, and then the rest of the line is similarly here. While removing the earthing, the earth rod shall be first removed from the spot, and after that all the earth rods are so removed, the connection to the earth pipe shall be removed finally. After removing this discharging rods from the supply, then only the earth rods must be removed, and the earths shall be placed in such a manner that they will not be detached inadvertently due to the movements of men or other causes. We should provide that because of my movement, there should not be any disconnection of this wire, like that we have to ensure. And in case of lines meeting or crossing at any poles on which the work is to be taken up, all the lines crossing or ending at this pole should be earthed. Means completely disconnected. It doesn't mean that in only in the above wire I am going to work so that the other part cannot be disturbed. It should not be like this. And the stray wires shall not be used for the purpose of earthing, and all the conductors must be treated as alive until they have been grounded properly. And earthing can never be fixed or removed by bare hands. Okay, and these are the safety procedures one should follow for the discharging and earthing. And in the next lecture we will be discussing about what is earthing, and what is the necessity for earthing, and what are the grounding methods that are available. Thank you.